Even though being a hero in the world of Boku no My Hero Academiana is one of the quickest ways to obtain fame, not everyone in the world is actually looking to do so. Some aspire for more classical forms of popularity from the pre-quirk world, that being the world of artisans and performers. Be them dancers, singers, idols, they don't want to stop crime, but make the world a better place just to live in. Though getting your name known in a quirk-based society takes a lot more hard work and some more questionably legal activities. And one of the best examples of this is the vigilante idol herself, pop star Step, also known as Kazuho Hanayama. Kazuho is one of the three main characters of Vigilantes, and one of the few characters in the entire Hiroaka series who actually doesn't have much interest in becoming a hero at all. Her goals are actually way more grounded in the entertainment business, which is actually kind of funny given her quirk. Though before we can discuss that, we should actually understand the meaning behind her name. So Popstar Step, or Kazuho Hanayama's name, even if not made by Horikoshi, follows the same naming themes of the world of Hiroaka. Starting of course with her given name, Kazuho, which is a name when broken down means soft or peaceful step. Alongside this, you also have her last name, Hanoyama, which when broken down means a feather at the base of the mountain, which means when placed all together, it means the soft or peaceful step of a feather at the base of a mountain, which is both a description of her starting point in the series, being at the base of the mountain of show business looking up, while also being a really fancy and overly artsy description of her quirk, Leap. Speaking of that, Leap is a quirk that allows Popstar Step to jump or leap extremely tall heights or extremely long distances, all the while allowing her to land safely on the other side. The way the quirk works first is Kazuho needs to activate it, and she can do so at will, which means that not every single one of her jumps is a leap, but the more that she does leap just casually, the stronger she'll get at the quirk. But when she does activate it, her quirk allows her to leap as high as she actually wants, and then during her landing, it softens her body, making her almost weightless to a degree. One could describe her quirk as making her feather-like in nature, which makes sense given her name, helping her soar around in the sky as if she was able to fly. Along with this, her quirk also fits thematically with the story, given that one of the major themes of Vigilantes is attempting to fly on your own. Kazuho's quirk helps her soar in the air with all of her friends, since as long as Popstar Step begins any fall with a confident leap, she can land without any problems. Though the quirk is actually very different from normal flight-like quirks, as Popstar needs a base to work off of, meaning that if she's falling with nothing to jump from, it means that she can't activate her quirk and she'll likely fall to her demise. Though if she can get her footing for just a moment on a surface as stable as at least a person, she can jump to safety. Along with this, if the surface that she does launch off of isn't stable, say it's muddy or wet, it will reduce her jump significantly. Now this quirk, mixed with Kazuho's desire to be a performer, is why she gave herself the stage name Popstar Step, which I have been pronouncing this entire video as Popstar Step instead of just Pop Step, because the first part of her name is Pop Star, which refers to the fact that she wants to be an idol or a pop star, and then the step part of her name refers to the fact that she is a performer who uses her quirk to hop around and dance and sing while she does her performances. Though it is very possible that her name is supposed to be pronounced just Pop Step, I have been pronouncing it as Pop Star Step given the fact that it does actually have a meaning to it. Though the funny thing about her is that her whole quirk and design are heavily inspired by something else, as Kazuho is heavily inspired by Amy Komori from the shortly lived and niche manga Shadow Lady, written by Masakazo Katsura. You can even see that Kazuho has taken the Kazu from Masakazo in her name. Also, both Shadow Lady's Komori and Vigilante's Kazuho are plain girls on the surface who carry with them an alter ego that takes the form of a bouncy and flamboyant persona they use to work out their stress and fully express themselves. We can even see similarities in their approaches to how they gain fame as well, with Popstar Step growing an audience because of the lewd practices she did during her early career online, and Shadow Lady using her sexual nature to confuse and distract her enemies in fights until this became known by the populace and Shadow Lady began to grow a following of her own. And even though both are heroic in nature, they're technically criminals, with Shadow Lady being a magical phantom thief who is also a vigilante hero on the side, even redeeming herself as a thief by overcoming one of the greater evils in her world. And then you have Popstar Step, who is a street performing idol, but she uses her quirk illegally to gain attention, but also helps solve solve crimes, and with recent events, she's actually part of an agency now, so her quirk use isn't illegal anymore. There's also a lot of nods to story moments between vigilantes and Shadow Lady, specifically with just Kazuho's character, but they're more winks and nods as the people who are behind vigilantes are actually big fans of the Shadow Lady manga. Kazuho is such a direct reference to Shadow Lady, even her quirk Leap is just another one of Shadow Lady's many abilities, as her shadow wings allow her not to fly, to hop around and bounce from place to place as if she was basically weightless. Which is actually kind of funny because Popstar Step was originally not going to have wings on her design, as they felt it was too much of a direct callback to Shadow Lady, but was later requested to be added to her design because of her quirk. Though one of the biggest connections between the two is the fact that they both use makeup to mask their true identity, with Komori using her magic eyeshadow, allowing her to transform into her secret identity of Shadow Lady. Kazuha uses just a regular thick layer of eyeshadow to mask herself when she wants to be Popstar Step. Though this is where the similarities end, as Kazuho's character is very different personality-wise to Komori. As Komori was a very passive type of person who didn't really speak their mind, Kazuho takes charge, acting as the brains of her group and berating her team for acting stupid. Along with this, she isn't afraid to speak her mind about anything, well, anything except for her feelings for Koichi, making her sort of a typical tsundere-esque character, but luckily that isn't her sole focus character-wise, as Kazuho wants to become a pop star or an idol, and is constantly trying to work her way up the ladder of success. We even see that she's quite passionate about these goals too, checking her blog constantly and performing at small venues. We can see easily that this is something she's wanted to do ever since she was really young, and it's so nice to see her actually naturally work her way up the ranks of show business, showing that she's willing to sacrifice things to achieve her dream, even going so far to work with someone she really doesn't like to get the backing of a hero agency. And this dedication helps make the gigs she does land feel more and more important over time, especially so when in the story, most of these venues end up being the setting of the climax for different arcs in the story. Along with this, it gives Kazuho something to develop and work on alongside Koichi as he learns to understand his quirk more and more, allowing the two characters to develop as people in very different ways, while also maintaining the themes of personal growth within both of the characters. And her work as an idol has helped her in her vigilante work as well. Even though she claims she isn't part of the group of vigilantes, she still helps direct civilians and calls the cops when villains start menacing the streets. And she only does this because she actually wants to help Koichi, both out of her romantic feelings for him, but also she feels she owes him, since he did miss out on his dream because of her. Though because of this choice to aid Koichi, Kazuho has constantly found herself in a balancing act between two lives no matter which personality she chooses to live with. It's either a balancing act of her normal life and her secret identity as Popstar Step, or her life as an idol versus her life as a vigilante. Either way, it's extremely dangerous to run this line, and it's pretty common for idols and pop stars in the entertainment industry, especially in Japan. Sure, it is over-dramatized a bit, given the existence of superpowers, but idols do constantly need to find a balance between work life and personal life, and having to deal with the consequences of either of them colliding at any point. Which makes me extremely excited to see where Kazuho's character goes in the next arcs of Vigilantes, as the arcs that we have seen so far have shown signs that things might get pretty dangerous for her. And given the themes of vigilantes and falling and flying, I can only hope that Popstar Step has her footing before she takes her next leap into stardom. And hopefully she'll soar high enough that Horikoshi will notice her and include her in the story in some way. Because no matter how big or small, I'd really like to see how her story has gone in the 4 years between Vigilantes and the main story of Hiroaka. And if you enjoyed this video and like to support more videos like in the future, I have a Patreon at patreon.com/ManyNotTheBadGuy. And if you'd like to live in a life with an alter ego, well, you can join Socks and start helping lewd terrorism all over the world. And you can do that so by heading over to buyshimonetta.com and buying yourself a copy.